Hey BookTube, welcome back. I'm Winx and the ink I'm talking about today is another book haul video. It's been a little while since I did a book haul video, and in that time I bought quite a few books, so I've got a lot to show you guys. As many of you know, I volunteer at a local bookstore in town, and it's impossible to go in and not go check out what's new, so it's pretty rare for me actually to leave my shift without having bought something. So I'll kick things off here by showing you the books that I picked up while at my volunteer shift. First is a book that I actually know very little about, and that is Unaccustomed Earth by Jhumpa Lahiri. I bought this because I have actually read two other of Lahiri's books. One is The Namesake and one is Interpreter of Maladies. And I read both of those about 10 years ago, but I really enjoyed them when I read them, and The Namesake was actually one of my favorite books for a while, and I haven't read anything by her since then, so when I saw this on the shelf I thought I would give it a try. Next is a classic book which I don't own and haven't read since high school, so definitely due for a reread on that, and it's Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I'm always meaning to pick up more classic books to read or reread, and I just thought this edition was really pretty, so I could not pass it up. I really like the sort of grayish blue color on the cover, and you can see it's got this little bit of gold on the lantern. So yeah, I like that. The back cover. It also has deckled pages, which I just really enjoy, and French flaps, which just always makes it seem a little fancier. Then the last two books that I picked up there are both Margaret Atwood books, and I've actually never read anything by Margaret Atwood, but it just so happened that on a day where I had a volunteer shift, I spent the morning catching up on some booktube videos, and I watched two different videos by two different booktubers that were both talking about how much they loved Margaret Atwood and some of their favorite Margaret Atwood books. So then when I got in for my shift and I saw a row of Margaret Atwood books on the shelf, I just decided to go for it. So the two books that I picked up are the Penelopiad and Cat's Eye, and I really love the cover of Cat's Eye. Just this hardcore looking floaty mage person, and the colors are really pretty, so yeah, really like that. Next I'll go through the graphic novels that I picked up. The first of which is Nimona. I actually read this book last month, but when I read it then I was using a borrowed copy from one of my friends, but I ended up loving it so much that I just decided to get my own copy because it's super cute and fun, and now I can share it with other people. Then because I love Nimona so much, I decided to see what else Noelle Stevenson has worked on, and this of course led me to The Lumberjanes. So I picked up volume 1 actually again during my volunteer shift at the bookstore. I read that one and I thought it was so great, so I then also decided to pick up volume 2. And I have not read this one yet, but I'm very excited to read it. Then I also recently read the first volumes of two other graphic novel series, and I loved them so much that I just decided to get the second volumes for those as well. And I have not gotten to these ones yet either, but I have Gem and the Holograms volume 2 and Rat Queens volume 2. So definitely excited to read both of these and see how the series continue. And then the next graphic novel is one that I'm actually currently reading. I just started it last night, and it's also the last item in this haul that I got during my volunteer shift at the bookstore. And that is Fun Home, a family tragicomic by Alison Bechdel. And this I had never heard of before, but I'm doing a buddy read on it with my friends Mike, Kelsey, and Catherine, and it was Catherine's pick this month, and now that I'm aware of this book, I'm seeing all kinds of things about it. It's won a few awards and it's been nominated for a bunch of others, and it's so far really gripping and interesting, and it's basically following the story of the relationship that Allison has with her late father, and just the dynamic that was in their family and stuff, and from the little bit that I started last night, it's really pulled me in, and I'm really interested to see how the story continues, so we will see. So then, as if I don't have enough temptation already between like online stores and the bookstore where I volunteer, my local grocery store has decided to add in this glorious book department. They used to basically just have a little coffee shop in the store, and there was this one shelf of books that you could sort of look through while you waited for the coffee. So I just never even really considered the store to be a place where I would go for books. They've been doing a lot of construction there for the past few months, and the whole store has just sort of been a shambles. And one day I went in and sort of went off to this one corner where I don't normally venture, and I see painted on the wall this giant word, books. There's like 5 aisles of just books in this corner. It's a little mini bookstore in this corner of the store. So obviously this was a very magical moment for me, and I proceeded to spend about 45 minutes just browsing this whole section and forgetting whatever it was that I originally came in for, and instead I left the store with a pile of books, which I will now show you. The first is one that has definitely been making the rounds here, and I'm sure many of you have heard of already, and that is My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. I've been hearing so much about this book, and most of it is really positive reviews, so I am definitely really curious to check it out. I do agree with the majority of people who hate this cover. It's not very cute. But I am nonetheless very curious to check it out. Next is a book that made a pretty big splash last year and which has been on my to-read list for a while, and that is Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee. Harper Lee is of course also the author of To Kill a Mockingbird, which is a classic that I really enjoy and actually one of the books that I have back here on my fancy shelf. So I am excited to have this one. Also, I just really like the color combination on this cover. This blue and sort of goldenrod yellow going on. Yeah. I'm a fan. And the last two books that I got at the grocery store are another two that have been very popular around the booktube lately, and those are both books by Rainbow Rowell. First is Eleanor and Park, and the other is Fangirl. And I just have to point out that the dust jacket for Fangirl was drawn by Noelle Stevenson, who also did Nimona and Lumberjane, so yes, I really love this. And Fangirl in particular just sounds like one that's really going to connect with me. I am undeniably a fangirl and proud of it, so I'm excited to read this one. And I've also just heard really good reviews about Eleanor and Park, so definitely excited to check that one out at some point too. At this point, I've never read anything by Rainbow Rowell, but from what I hear, they're awesome, so gotta check it out. These next two books don't really fit in a specific category, which to me put them in their own category. And the first of these is Ruby by Cynthia Bond, and I got this book from Brittany at Under the Radar Books through her Etsy shop, where she does a blind date with a book. You can choose a surprise option, which is what I did, or you could choose a certain genre, but either way you don't know what specific book you're going to get, and it comes wrapped up with little hints and stuff, and it's just a really fun way to get a book that you might not have picked up otherwise. So this was the book that I got, and it sounds amazing. It's not in a genre that I normally go to, which is actually what I was hoping for, so that way I get to try something new and sort of expand my reading horizons a bit. So that was exciting, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. And also I'll put a link somewhere around here so you can watch the unboxing when I got this. And the other book in this non-category category is called The Master and Margarita. This book was actually recommended to me by one of my coworkers a few years ago, and I thought it sounded really interesting, so I actually went right to Amazon so I could try to order a Kindle copy of it. But unfortunately this book was not available in a Kindle copy, and I'm pretty sure it's still not available in a Kindle copy. But yeah, it for sure wasn't at the time, so I just ended up adding it to my Goodreads list and then sort of lost track of it. And then just recently in March or April, I happened to see that the 50th anniversary of this book was coming up, and Penguin was releasing it with a newly revised translation. It's originally a Russian novel, and so I looked at it and I saw that it had this new amazing cover too, and I just couldn't resist. So I actually pre-ordered this one and got it earlier this month, and you can see this amazing cover. I just love this cover. I can't even tell you how much I love this cover. Yeah. And it's got deckled pages again, which I love, and French flaps. Yeah. Love, love, love. And I'm really excited to read this one at some point. Like, even if I hate it, I'm just really excited to have this particular copy on my shelf because it's gorgeous. Okay, and then the last category of books are ones that I did not personally buy. One is a gift from my aunt, and the rest were sent to me by authors. So I'll start with the gift from my aunt, and it's this adorable little mini Sherlock Holmes book. If you can see it. It's the Essential Mysteries in One Sitting. So this is not the actual Conan Doyle stories, just written out in really tiny font. It takes a few of the Conan Doyle stories and then basically gives you cliff notes or this paraphrased version of them so you can just get through them in one sitting. It's a really cute idea, and there's still little pictures inside, which is fun. And yeah, I just thought this was too cute, and I love the color, this like bright poppin' green thing going on. Love it. Then for the books I was sent by authors, the first of which is The Dragon's Blade by Michael R. Miller, which is one I'm currently reading. I started it at the beginning of this month, and then this month has just been so hectic that I made like no progress with it, and I'm just now feeling like I'm really getting back into it. So hopefully I will finish that soon. But Michael sent me a Kindle copy of that in exchange for a review, which was actually the first time an author had reached out to me to ask me if I wanted a copy of their book for a review. So of course I said yes. I'm really excited about it, and not just because an author reached out to me, but the story itself sounds fascinating, and I've seen some reviews from other booktubers who read it that makes it sound like something I will really enjoy. So excited to carry on with that one. This next one I've shown off quite a bit already, and that's Gilo by J.D. Horn, which is the 4th book in the Witching Savannah series, and I was sent this in exchange for a review, and this was an exciting moment because while it wasn't the first time an author reached out to me to see if I would like to read their book, it was the first time I was offered a physical copy of the book, so extra exciting. And then I also came to find out that my aunt was a beta reader for this book. I knew she really enjoyed the series, and she was actually the person who first made me aware of the series, and she sent me the first 2 books on Kindle. And yeah, so I knew that she loved it, but I had no idea that she was actually beta reading this 4th book. So she gets a mention in the acknowledgements, and that just made it even more special. So I'm just really excited to have this copy on my shelf. It's also got a signed book plate in the front, so bonus. And the final book that I was sent has an amazing story that I have to share with you guys. So a few weeks ago I woke up to see that I had an email, and the email was from an author named Clea Simon, and the subject line of the email said, "Lori R. King told me about you." Lori R. King is one of my favorite authors, so needless to say, this definitely caught my attention. And Lori R. King writes the Mary Russell Sherlock Holmes series that I'm kind of obsessed with, along with a few other series and standalones that I also really enjoy. So yeah, much excitement. So it turns out that Clea Simon recently met Lori R. King, and they were talking, and Clea was saying how Lori's Mary Russell series was actually an inspiration for Clea's latest book, which started out as a Holmes pastiche but with Sherlock reimagined as a cat. As a little background, I've had a couple conversations with Lori R. King at this point, both in person at book signings as well as online through Twitter and such, and a lot of these conversations have been about the fact that I have a tattoo of her Mary Russell character as a cat on my leg. I did a video about it, and I'll put links to it if you guys haven't seen that and want to check it out. So anyway, when Lori heard this description of Clea's book, she directed Clea to my blog where I did a post about these tattoos and my love of Mary Russell and such. So Clea saw this, was excited to find another person who also has love for Sherlockian kitties, and sent me this email saying that she would like to send me a copy of her book. So obviously this like made my day, week, life, etc. And I said yes, and here it is. It's called The Ninth Life by Clea Simon, and it's the first of a new series actually, so even more exciting. It's not that long, so I'm hoping to add it to an upcoming TBR and check this out. And Clea was so nice, she actually personalized it. It says 4 winks with purrs and then autographed, and I just have to point out that there's a kitty face in the autograph. She also sent a couple bookmarks that are for the book, and I love me some bookmarks, so I was excited about that. And yeah, this book just combines so much of my love. Cats, Sherlock, it's inspired by Mary Russell, and it's all put into a lovely book that is now on my shelf, so cannot wait for this one. Alright, well I think that about catches you guys up on all of my book shopping sprees of late. So definitely let me know in the comments if you guys have read any of these books and what you think about them. Have you bought any books lately that you're really excited about, or got any on pre-order that are coming out soon? Let me know. Also, just really quick, I want to thank everybody who participated in the BookTube scavenger hunt, and especially a big thanks to all of the other hosts, and especially to Gabrielle from Fermius Reads, who actually thought of and organized the whole event. It went really well, and we had such a great turnout. I think there ended up being over 130 people who actually entered for the prize. So yeah, that's awesome, and I'm really glad everyone had so much fun with it, and hopefully there will be many more scavenger hunts in BookTube's future. And speaking of exciting BookTube events, I just want to give a reminder that this is the last week to enter in my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. I'll put links to the video for that if you haven't checked it out yet. It's open to US and international subscribers, and I'm also doing a Q&A video with it, so you can enter the giveaway and submit questions until Friday, and then I'm going to close it. So then I have time to film and edit and get everything ready for Monday, which is when I will be answering all your questions as well as announcing the winners of the giveaway. So stay tuned for that. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I hope everybody's week is going well, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!